much, beloved. Receptivity is the theme. Now, we spoke of refining. And this is an energetic refinement where that which we resonate with becomes more focused. Not to say we're not open. We still enjoy our friends and family and some of our old environments, but we recognize the nature of that energy and accept it for what it is, because we're supposed to see it. There's nothing in our reality that's not ours, we're not responsible for. Everything that we observe is ours. Everything in the kingdom we're responsible for. You know what the kingdom is? Everything in the front and the back of these eyes. That's the kingdom. And everything in the kingdom, a king and queen are responsible for. We don't ignore anything. It's all ours. Even the ignorance of our brothers and sisters and the destruction amongst humanity, it's ours. With dignity, with grace, it's ours. And as the leaders of the new earth, guardians of life here on this plane, we uphold our work through the energies of compassion and empathy, of personal responsibility, of dignity, of royalty, of truth, transparency, beauty. Everyone deserves a seat. Everyone has a seat at God's table. Everyone. And we honor reflections just as we honor ourselves. We know no other way to live. Why? Because we're honorable. We represent a lineage of royalty here amongst humanity. There is no other way that we know how to love, because that's where we're from. We know what real love looks like. We know what it feels like. We know what unconditional means. Don't we? That means regardless. I love regardless. And because you know what it feels like to be hurt, you also know what it feels like to forgive. Regardless, we love. Those who deserve crowns hold this truth to be self-evident and close to their hearts. We honor this in knowing who we are. This receptivity is embraced more when we realize that we already deserve the beauty. We already deserve to receive. If you can only recollect and consciously recognize the amount of lifetimes that is required for you just to get to this juncture of your journey, the many lifetimes that it took just to be here right now, not only be alive, but be aware, present, and at a service capacity. To be aware of being here at a service capacity is a feat beyond what many souls, even souls amongst the higher realms, have ever achieved. in a physical vehicle, to still have the physical vehicle and recognize who you are in at a service capacity on this planet. We're going to talk a little bit about the nature of our presence and our being and the purpose in which lies at the foundation, at the base of all these experiences. Because we've attempted for so long to make sense of this narrative, this story that has unfolded amongst this planet. That's why we wake up as students, because every day life is always schooling you. Every day. Every day the infinite creator is schooling. Every morning we wake up taking notes, because the divine is schooling us about what this is, about how beautiful we are, about how beautiful life is, and how much of a privilege it is to be here. Every day, God taking us to school. Big stakes every day. It's a representation of the love that life has for us. The love that life has for us. There's always more. Speak a little teeny bit about this. I'm not going to dwell on it, but it's important for us to recognize this so we continue to refine ourselves and realize what this is. Now, by no means is this a place of superficial spirituality. By no means. With such an experience comes the empathy, compassion, and familiarity with the human experience, which has served us so well in being able to communicate with all of you. The vernaculars and dispositions and ways of being that merely mirror deep emotional states. And through us having the compassion and empathy for these experiences, it's helpful for us to reverse engineer some of the distortions that come along with such an experience. I'll say again, this is not a space for superficial spirituality, fake healing. No, at all. At all. We're not doing that over here. We'd have suffered too much to do that fake, we're not doing that over here, beloved. We're really healing. Really, like for real, we really healing. We talking about real personal responsibility. We recognize the projections. We really have to release our resentment. And we're not talking about doing this after some things take place or something happens and you find yourself in a space of having the upper hand, if you will. We're not talking about doing that after that. We're talking about doing it before. Resentment. The intent to be right. To prove people wrong, or revenge, and feeling like karma is a form of revenge that you're waiting for so you can see and say, yeah, well, I'm spiritual, and then no, we're not doing that. That's not it. That's not it. We're talking about you coming to terms with everything being the way that it's supposed to be now. Beyond evidence, beyond you attempting to prove something. Like really becoming a beautiful person, really releasing the judgments now, really releasing the ideas of separation and my people and your people and our people and all of this segregation. That don't have no place out in the heavens. It's beautiful out here. We beautiful souls of divine royalty. We don't rock like that out there at all. All is a representation of the one. All the essences throughout the galaxy and solar system represent divine aspects of the infinite rainbow that exists. And of course, as manifestations and representatives of the Christ, we connect with all of those energies, all of those tools and ways of being, dispositions, cultures, and skills are accessed through our own heart. Everything is in here. All beings and their talents and star nations and ways of being, they all have their source in here. When I say I am God, I mean it. Not a black God or an Indian God or a white God or God. We mean it. The storyline of division must be healed. Must be healed. It's an absolute prerequisite before there's any freedom. Because once again, unity. That's the fabric that is allowed for humanity to exist right now. Because if you could only see the possibilities of all the timelines that have come before this point, the mere misses of absolute destruction on this plane of existence, and how we were able to maneuver unscathed those timelines of destruction and pain and suffering. You'd respect unity more. You'd respect peace more. You realize how important it is for us to recognize each other and honor each other for our gifts, for our differences.